everyone, and today we're going to be taking a look at what if World War III broke out. I made a similar video, but it wasn't actually World War III, it was more focused on the conflict. But today we're going to be taking a look at what if World War III broke out, and we're going to be seeing how it broke out first. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing that straight up happens is Ukrainians get a lot of support, and after building up all their support, they push back Russians over here and then manage to invade them. I know this is not 100% accurate. Of course, Ukraine already captured a few cities over here, but I'm not going to be getting so complicated for the viewers that just forgot about all that. It's going to be simple. And then, so basically Ukraine manages to push back Russia over here and then start invading Russia over there. They also managed to cut off this Crimea part, I think. But it's mostly connected, but now the troops are not able to enter from here, which is a major downside right now in this war. So, the president of Russia gets angry and starts firing ballistic missiles everywhere. Nuclear ballistic missiles and a few nuclear bombs here and there, which really sets off the last wire for the United States of America, which in return decides to join the war. Now, the NATO is not going to be joining the war since major parties like France and other countries do not want to be anything to do with this war except for support Ukraine with weapons. They do not want to send military support as that'll affect their economy indirectly. So they're not going to be doing that. US declares war. Russia is freaking out. But till then, all the firing of missiles has gained Russia their land back, and they are now pushing in the areas that they fire nuclear bombs in. Not the greatest idea, but it's fine. The meat grinder's still on. So the Russians are pushing back now. They're losing a lot of natural resources faster than they can harvest them. It's not looking very good. But as we can see, this is the situation right now. There's nothing we can do about it. The United States is gathering their troops and looking for allies, potential allies who could actually assist them in this war. Ukraine is managing to hold out till then. And let's look at what allies might want to join here. So the first ally that comes in mind is, well, Canada. But Canada doesn't really want to join. But after a lot of negotiations with the US and about them gaining some land over in Russia, they agree, as Canada and Russia are also secretly having a war over here for Antarctica. If you don't know that, I would recommend searching that up. There's quite a few videos on YouTube about that. So basically, they're trying to get to the Atlantic Ocean. There's also a little bit war about Antarctica, but that's not the main thing. They're fighting over control for this area, as there's some icebreaker ships now coming out, and both of them want to, dominate this area. They're the only northern countries that have all these things. The US is also potentially looking into it, but we're not going to be getting into that. Alright, that is a whole another topic. This is mapping, okay? So it really does not look good for Russia, and all these countries don't have good alliances with Russia. They don't really have good connections with Russia, which is why they decided to join in the favor of the US. Now there are a lot of militants over here, and as supports come from everywhere, the usual invasion of St. Petersburg begins. So Russia is actually, I think, still has more land, but it has more enemies, more powerful enemies, way better than they are. They lose St. Petersburg, and the revolts are starting to take place now in Moscow. Yeah, sounds familiar, doesn't it? All the Ukrainians, all of them are gathering up over here and then cutting off this region from the rest of Russia because they want to gain as much land as they can while Russia is focused up there. All the Russian troops hold out for a long. Military drone strikes eventually manage to really weaken these areas and take over a few of them. This area is still going strong since support from over here is still coming. That looks a little bit weird, but whatever. They're still holding out. But you know who's not holding out? The troops over here. As Canada and the US are sending some support. Not in heaps, but they are sending support. Countries like France are still supplying military. So this area doesn't really have any troops, so we're gonna be capturing that. Basically, after this line over here, there's nothing, like literally nothing. So basically, they just have to capture this area. Russia might be big, but it's not very strong in comparison to just one United States. So it definitely can't survive so long as it has already been in the war for so long. But now we see some potential allies. Oh wait, I forgot to call in North Korea. They're technically in the war already. Not doing too much though. China is interested. If this war goes in the favor of them, it could lead to them being the dominant power after the United States of America, which is what they want. And after a long period of negotiations, they decide to join Russia. This is a big game changer, alright? Although Russia is still getting beat up over here. But now what was that? Now, but the three countries are not the strongest of them all, so they are not able to push any further into Moscow over here. But the troops from United States are officially arriving, and so are from Canada. And after getting all geared up in Ukraine, they push back the areas over here, capturing land back and trying to cut off all this area. So basically what they do is divide up the troops. They say all the Canadian and Ukrainian troops are gonna go over here, and some of the Ukrainian and the mostly American troops are gonna go over here to guide the American troops. And we don't see too much of a change over here because they're not the strongest of them all. Ukraine has been fighting for so long, and Canada is not the strongest, but as we have seen, nor is Russia. With America though, it's a whole different thing out here. They are completely obliterating Russia as their defenses are not the best. They also started a counter-offensive over here, not too big though as they have limited troops over here. The Canadians eventually push in here and the Ukrainians take out this area. So this area is now, let's say, at this point the Chinese troops are crossing over. They're coming and they are basically like putting a stalemate all the way over here, and they are eventually pushing back their troops over here too, just like so. The three countries did not do a good job of maintaining this land, as they put too much resources in actually capturing. St. Petersburg is recaptured as the Chinese and the Russian troops push in. And the sudden expansion of these three countries is going to result them losing a lot of land that they just captured. We see a stalemate going on almost everywhere, as both of the sides' troops are, I'll say, equally balanced. But now pressure from the Russians and the Chinese is growing on Pakistan, as both the two of these countries are good allies with Pakistan. And since Pakistan does owe a lot of debt, China says that if you participate a huge chunk in this war, forget all that debt. So basically, the negotiations go on, and basically Pakistan joins in the war. So, yay, everybody's happy. Whatever troops in Pakistan there are, they either fly over here to Russia, or they go through China and then to Russia. The Pakistani troops are mostly arriving over here though, and pushing back the offensive that was going on here. They even managed to push a little bit in, but not too much, as United States is still holding that land pretty well. But now we see another major game changer enter in this scenario, which is, no, not India, Japan. Yes, Japan decides to enter in this war, as they're really good allies with United States, and they're kind of anti-Chinese. So do South Koreans. And now this looks more like World War III than it did before. But before we get any further, I would just like to take a moment and say, please subscribe to the channel. That's the one and only thing that keeps me going, except for if you subscribe to my other channel, which link will be in the description. Yeah, go check that channel out. It's the best channel ever. Better than this one. Definitely better than this one. But yeah, subscribe to that one if you want. Subscribe to this one. Please subscribe to both of them. I'm desperate. Please. Okay, anyways. Another big game changer is about to join, and if you can guess, they're somewhere over here. We're not going to be talking about them right now, as we've got bigger and better things to focus on. Okay, this is part of Russia. Okay, and now it is not, as Japanese troops have invaded that land. And since a lot of North Korean troops are out, South Korea and Japan both push into North Korea. North Korea is a little bit underdeveloped, and their capital is captured, and North Korea starts falling. But since a lot of Chinese troops were still in China, and Moscow's like right around here, it's easy to come over here, and they have a little bit of pushback and then a stalemate over here as well. Nobody's trying to take this land back, and Japan is not really focusing here. They're really focusing up here, getting all this glory that for some reason is very important, even though there's no troops here. No troops. But whatever, they're gaining natural resources, and that is good enough to, they need natural resources. All the big lakes around like here, not really over there, but it's a slow advance, But Japan stops when it sees that it shouldn't like expand too much, so the thing doesn't happen what happened with these countries. So Japan withdraws almost all of them. It leaves a little bit. To push back the Chinese and the North Korean troops. They make the most advanced over here, as that's where the Chinese troops are the least. So this is what we're left with. Yes, the red side is definitely losing right now. They are on, actually, I think they're on the equal land right now, because Russia and China are like pretty big. Russia is the biggest one, and then China, I think, is the, what was it? I don't remember, and Pakistan is also one big country. So they still have a lot of land, but then again, Canada is the second biggest country, and then United States is the third biggest country. And then these small areas that they've captured, of course, these three countries. So I think it's pretty equal in terms of land. But losing more land is definitely the red team. And at this point, India has two enemies. And you know who they are? This guy and this guy. So do you know what happens? Not that. Okay. You know what happens? India joins the war. Because I know they have really good ties with Russia. I know that. But India knows that if they rely on Russia forever, Russia is not Soviet Union. It was just for their gain, because if United States managed to get in India, it would be all over for them. So they understand that, and they are now partnering up with the Western area. Taiwan sees its chance to take back what's theirs, and I'm just going to color Hong Kong now. So we have some interesting things going on in this area. Since all the Pakistani troops are stupid and they left, well, they're not really that stupid, but they really just got called up with China and Russia, and they did not really think about it at the time. They are now getting absolutely crushed by India, as India is definitely more powerful than them. They're not able to do a lot in the Kashmir region, as a lot of this area is occupied by China and Pakistan than it is by India. So we see Pakistan getting in there, but then again India captures Pakistan capital, and then they basically like go up the Indus River like this, and then they like spike over here, making all this land into India's hands, which after a long brutal back and forth gets Pakistan out of the war. Now that's Pakistan out of the war, and India is now focusing on China. They already had some borders set up here, and they start invading. They asked Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh to join, but none of them really care, so they don't join at all. And India starts invading over here. They're not really able to do much over here, because the Himalayas, as we all know. They invade a little bit from here, because this is like their only place they can invade right now, because of the Himalayas, as I said. So now it really does not look good for the red team. And Taiwan has its own mission of capturing Hong Kong, and it almost does manage to capture Hong Kong, but there's a good amount of military there, so they hold out. Taiwan has some US troops in them, which is why they were able to capture that much. Now the red team is beginning to see how wrong they were to start this war in the first place. China is crying as they're losing a lot of land, and Russia is definitely not happy about what's happening. Um, um, all of Russia's partners troops that we saw join, North Korea and China only, um, they start pulling, well, actually Pakistan, but they're captured. They start pulling their troops back because China's homeland is getting invaded by their number 2 enemy, India, and Taiwan is also attacking them. I think number 1, number 2, and then United States also number 2. Or if you could, they're all number 1. So we see the withdrawal of troops from over here, leaving Russia to face the challenges against the United States. And the Canadian and the United States troops eventually manage to push into Russia. They don't really focus except capturing the land that they had already lost here. But they do go up here to try to capture Moscow. And they do put another back and forth conflict on over here. Now Russia has to do all of this on their own, which means they lose all this land again to these countries as they have rebuilt their military all this time. And we see the capturing of St. Petersburg again. So, yay, again. But they're not able to invade too much further. Moscow's like somewhere over here. Actually, I'm gonna mark that. Tell me in the comments if you like it or not. Here we go. Give me 1 sec. Alright, I marked Moscow. They're over there. I hope you can see that. If you can't, womp womp. There it is. And both of these want to target over there. And they are absolutely destroying it. They are actually pretty good at spiking up at this point. But they're using another tactic this time. They're capturing a little bit of land on the sides while they're spiking to make sure that they don't get pushed back on the sides. This ensures that they have a good grip on the land before they go. And as they get near Moscow, they face more harsh, military force. And there's also a lot of rebellions going on, which is actually bad for them. But they eventually manage to turn it into good as, wait, do you want me to color the rebellions? Yeah, I think that's a great idea actually. I'm gonna color the rebellions dark blue. The rebellions are over here everywhere. They're definitely not random. They're so pinpointed, you can't even tell. And all these rebellions come together into one whole big rebellion, and the military does their best to try to suppress them, but it's just too much as the US troops take this to their advantage, get up here, meet with the blue troops, and together over here they form an alliance and then eventually capture Moscow. This is very big as Moscow has not really been captured except for rebellions before. I think, yeah, people have gotten really close, but none have actually achieved it. And everybody connects up with the US here, and this part completely falls. Russia decides to still try to hold on to what land they have. All the peace negotiations are surging at this point. They suppress all the rebellions, the major ones over here, the ones near the US Army are still going on strong. Of course, they don't manage to suppress all the rebellions as there are too many. They don't want to divert their army as the US is pushing in still as there has not been an official peace deal yet. Russia knows that it's done and it should probably start negotiating for a peace deal. Down here, we see China getting all mad, leaving North Korea and then taking over Hong Kong again. So Hong Kong's back in their control, although a press is beginning to form. They also make a small landing in Taiwan, but they're not very succeeding over here, as Japanese troops and South Korean troops are helping Taiwan, and Taiwan's pretty strong, and China is also strong. They're tired as they're fighting the Indian troops here for about a decade almost now. This war has been going for, well, actually not a decade. No, they're not been fighting for a decade. It's only 3 years, but the full war is going on for a decade or two now, and everybody wants a rest. Nobody wants to continue this war, but the peace treaty is still not being signed as the fighting continues. Over here we see China pushing back India and them taking advantage of this narrow chicken neck, but they're not able to invade here too much as India already was ready for this. But what they wasn't ready for was the great crossing of the Himalayas from China. This is where the Himalayan mountains are the most. Wait, I should probably do it in red. And then blue. And then red again. See guys, I'm a genius. This is where the Himalayas are the most, which is why China has to declare war on Nepal to get in to that chicken neck. Nepal falls pretty quickly, although they have a big population. China puts all its military focus over here in capturing the neck, and then they get absolutely bashed out of here because they're tired from the Himalayas, and they just suppress like a lot of Nepalese people. I hope I pronounced that right. Please don't be offended. And yeah, they are pushed back over here. Nepal's the only one invaded. India's helping them, so no worries. So the blue team is definitely having a win here, and the South Korean and the Japanese troops eventually managed to take over North Korea and even invade China a little bit, but that's not a toy to play for with kids, as Chinese troops invade North Korea, now almost Korea. But they have a stalemate as China just can't fight so many fronted wars because Taiwan's making a little bit of unrest over here, you know. So now the peace treaty is finally being signed, and let's look at what the peace deal is like. And this is the finished peace treaty. And if you want to ask how much time this took, it took me 3 hours. No, I'm just kidding. It took me half an hour. Yes, I put on the stopwatch. It took me half an hour. Oh my god, this took longer than the actual video to make. So you better subscribe or I'm coming for you. Alright, let's see the map in detail. India here gained most of Pakistan. This is what's left of Pakistan. They gained a little bit of land from China as they had put offensive there. And if you're wondering about Bhutan and Nepal, India was like, come to daddy, and they were like, alright. And so India doesn't have a big chicken neck anymore. Oh, a small chicken neck anymore, as both of them came to their big daddy. Wait, I forgot to remove this. There we go. You can probably see it much better now. So yeah, this is India. They also gained a little bit of land over here. Bangladesh did not join in, and India didn't really want them as there's a lot of protests going on. If you're a map expert, you notice that China gained a little bit of land over here, although it's barely noticeable to random people. All right, so unless you're a good mapper guy, you don't understand that. And then Korea is united once again. Um, Taiwan here gains this Hong Kong land from China. The rebellion in Hong Kong gains this land, and China gets left with that land. Surprising. Like actually, why did I say subscribing? It's surprising. Russia did not care about this land, so they were like, sure, let Japan take it. This area they were a little bit shy about, but eventually Japan got the land, so they're happy. All right, over here, Ukraine gained this land. They look like an elephant to me for some reason. I think this like the trunk. These are the legs, and then this is the back. No. Tell me in the comments if that looks like an elephant. No offense. Okay. Canada. This is what Canada gained. No, actually, no. That's not what Canada gained. This is what Canada gained. This is the land that Canada gained. If you're wondering what this is the rebellion that was in Russia. So this is the rebellion's land that the rebellion gained. And Sweden, Finland, and this country too made a united country. They're already close friends, and they already had an alliance, so now they formed one big country to protect them from further Russian bullyingness, you know. And if you want to see what they gained, these were kind of the borders before the war, you know. Not very accurate, not at all accurate. That was way bigger than the ones. But they gained a huge chunk of land. It was like this before the war, I think. And after the war, they gained a whole chunk of land. So they gained a lot of land too. And this is the US. I think I already told you that this is the land gained by the US. So this is the summary. Taiwan gains some land in Hong Kong. Korea gets united. India gains some land from Pakistan and China. Japan gains land from Russia. These Finland and Sweden countries gain a little bit of land over here, a lot of land. The rebellion gains land over here, so does the rebellion here. This is United States, and then the smaller one over here is Canada. And that is basically it. Please subscribe to this channel, and also the channel in the description, as that is the only reason I make these videos. The support from you guys is absolutely huge. I want to see that in the future. Keep it coming, baby. And yeah, if you don't like the video, I'm coming for you. I already have 15 people in my basement, and what? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, you know what's coming. And yeah, I'm basically becoming an off-brand Duolingo at this point. Yeah, I am. I'm becoming an off-brand Duolingo, guys. Keep up the threatening messages. Anyways, I hope you liked. It took me a lot of effort to make the borders. I don't really care about the video. The borders took too long to make. Please subscribe to the channel. I beg you. Go to the channel in the description. It really helps me. And if you want to know what software I'm using, I'm soon gonna put a Discord server. I'm gonna start a Discord server, and there will be a FAQ section in there. So stay tuned and go subscribe to my other channel. Bye.